It's Tuesday, April 18th, 2023. I want to start the video out today, first off, by thanking each and every one of you for your prayers, for reaching out, for caring. I've never had so many people reach out. YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, thousands of people reached out, kept us in their prayers for the loss of Gigi. I'm absolutely amazed with how much love there was for that little dog, Gigi. Absolutely incredible. And I want to thank each and every one of you for this. Again, I'm just blown away with how many people cared. Whether you said a prayer for us or reached out, it meant so much. And it helped my family so much and myself, because it's been a hard couple days. But again, I have to thank every one of you. You know, a lot of people contact me all the time and want to thank me. Listen, I'm just a guy with a camera, a microphone, an opinion, someone thinking out loud. You don't have to thank me for anything. I do this because I feel like this is what God wants me to do. But I have to thank all of you. Again, whether you reached out, whether you just said a prayer, kept us in your thoughts, I have to thank each and every one of you for the support. It gives me such hope that maybe this country still has a chance, that there's still some really, really good people out there. I don't think I ever had more comments than I did than the last show, just talking about Gigi. I cannot believe how many people just loved her. And I will be forever grateful to all of you for that support and those prayers, because it helped all of us out. And I couldn't reach out to all of you. I couldn't comment and reply back to a lot of the emails and Instagrams and comments on YouTube. I apologize, but there were thousands. And I was just inundated with all of them. And I've tried to get through all of them. But it was literally overwhelming, and I thank you, because we felt that positive energy, we felt the prayers, and we just cannot thank you enough. And I know Gigi thanks all of you also. So again, nobody has to thank me for anything, but I have to thank you. God bless all of you. Thank you so much. Without further ado, let's get into this. So, shifting gears now, let's get into what's been going on. A few things have been taking place over the weekend. We're watching society literally break down and decay. Many of you have probably been watching some of the same videos I have with what's happening in Chicago. Thousands of teens running wild, jumping on cars, breaking out windshields, destroying cars. Chicago police having to escort tourists to their hotels. It is unbelievable what we are watching take place in society right now. This societal breakdown that's taking place. And I don't know where their parents are. I've never seen anything like this in my life. Somebody the other day said that, you know, they like my channel, but there's other channels that are more specific, and I'm more broad. I don't get specific with what's going on. And I will tell you this, I think I get extremely specific, because I'm going to tell you right now specifically, as this economy continues to decay and erode, you're going to watch the erosion of society. And with that, it's going to get very, very dangerous. And this is why those channels never talk about security. Those channels never tell you about how and why you better be preparing. And I'm telling you right now specifically that you better be getting ready. Nothing has really happened yet. Nothing has really gone off the rails yet. They've been able to keep printing money and keeping the whole facade going. But at some point, when people get hungry, when enough people lose their jobs, when they cut enough benefits and people's kids are starving, when people really get angry, and they're not just doing this sort of thing for entertainment, when they actually get mad, look at how bad this is going to be. If it's this bad right now, people are just doing this for fun and entertainment, imagine what this is going to look like, especially in the cities, when people get angry. This is concerning, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to be very, very specific here, because people think I don't get specific enough. You better be getting ready. You better have real security. You better have the right tools. You better have the skill set. You better have the mindset. You better be training right now, getting your body in better shape, getting your tactics in better shape. Because when they can no longer go to the Walmarts and steal from the Walmarts because they've closed, and the Walgreens in the areas have closed, and enough stores closed that they just can't steal from, well, then they're going to go to your neighborhood, and they're coming to your house, and then they're going to come into your house. And you have to think, what am I going to do? Am I prepared? Do I have the mindset, the training, the tools, the security to deal with this? Because the police aren't going to be there to help you. They're going to be helping their own families, or they're going to just be so overrun that they're just not going to be able to help you. So make sure that you are preparing for the worst case scenario. People are going to get angry, they're going to get hungry, they're going to get desperate, and when the stores are completely empty, they're coming to the houses. So be ready for that. But again, watching some of these videos it's alarming. It's so disturbing. And being somebody who grew up in Chicago and watching this, it's unbelievable to look at this stuff that looks like it's coming out of a movie. Another video this weekend was a convenience store in Compton, California. Hundreds of teens ran into this store and just took everything, wiped it out within minutes. I've never seen a time in society where people just don't care. They just don't care. And they're willing to take things to the next level. You look at what's happening with the police. They are ready to get into a gunfight, literally over a speeding ticket. They are ready to take it to the next level. People have just no respect for the law. They have no respect for citizens. They have no respect for anything good at this point. It is do what thou wilt. They will do whatever they want to do. The hedge today, commercial real estate giant Brookfield defaults on a $161 million debt for DC office buildings. $400 billion in commercial real estate debt matures this year, and rates are going to go up again in May. It says here, we're seeing more stress on regional banks. Now, Brookfield defaults on a $161.4 million debt. This was for 12 office buildings in Washington, D.C. And we're going to see this really affect the regional banks who make up a majority of the lending for commercial real estate. But let's not forget, there are bigger banks involved. You have JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, some of the big boys also are heavily invested in commercial real estate. Pensions are invested. You have investors, bondholders that are heavily invested in commercial real estate. And this sector has been in big trouble for a number of years, and it's just a matter of time before it goes. I don't see how people can believe everything is okay right now. When you look at the reckless loans that the banks made in the auto market a couple years ago, what's happening now in commercial real estate and the overvaluation when they made these loans, and now these buildings are vacant. They're worth half of what was paid for these buildings a few years ago. Who's going to buy these commercial real estate properties? Who's going to buy these office properties? They're going to go down so far in value. What are they going to do with them? They're very expensive to convert into condominiums or apartments, things of that nature. Very expensive to do. So I think the price of commercial real estate is going to just go so low, nobody's going to believe it. And we're going to see a big problem in housing too. Right here on Fox Business, housing starts resume downward spiral in March while building permits plummet. So housing permits slid 0.8% last month. The deep freeze in housing is far from over. And now, as we see the regional banks and the smaller banks really tightening up with lending, it's going to be much harder for people to buy a home. And what about the builders who have to borrow money to build these developments? It's going to cost more. It's going to be more restrictive. Lending is tightening. So I don't see how we're going to get out of this. At the same time, when real wages are decreasing, people's credit is going to be destroyed as they're getting farther behind in payments for their credit cards, their cars, the cell phones, student loan debt. They're falling behind. And this is going to affect credit. And when you don't have credit, you're not buying a house. And at the end of the day, the main thing that allows real estate to thrive is a job market. And what are we seeing? We're seeing people every day losing their jobs. When people don't have jobs, you're not going to have a housing market. You're going to see problems. I thought this was an interesting article today, also on Fox Business. IRS says Americans are getting $20 billion less in tax refunds this year. So this year, Americans got back $198.9 billion. Last year, they got back $222.3 billion. The average refund is down 10% this year. So this means that the average American is going to have less money to pay off their debt, less money to go out and spend in the economy. So this is, in my opinion, let me know what you think, comment down below, but how does this affect the U.S. economy right now when people don't have as much to pay down the debt, they don't have as much money to go out and spend now in the U.S. economy because they got less money back. $20 billion less going into the U.S. economy, $20 billion less paying down debt. So I think this is going to be another problem. And I think we're going to probably see this reflected in retail sales. The hedge today, this will not be a normal recession. You know, I looked at gold and silver today. I believe they were up. We have gold over $2,000 an ounce, silver holding over $25 an ounce. Still, this stuff is extremely cheap. But we're seeing these numbers in gold and silver right now because gold and silver smell something. They're sniffing something out, and they know that something is broken. I believe that people are buying metals right now because they're concerned about the competition now with the dollar, what's happening globally, countries getting or being less attracted to the U.S. dollar. Countries now sending some of those U.S. dollars back, and more countries down the road are going to be sending U.S. dollars back because it's becoming less attractive because of the weaponization of the U.S. dollar. And now I think many countries are seeing China as a world power, and they're going to go towards China because they see what China is doing. They know that China is going to back the yuan partially with gold. They're cutting deals all over the world, and they are going to be the world leader, and they are going to be the biggest, most powerful military, most powerful banks, most powerful economy, manufacturers, producers, you name it, and countries are going to be attracted to China. And so those dollars are coming back, ladies and gentlemen, and I think we're seeing concern, and we're going to continue to see a weakening dollar. They're going to do everything they can to prop up the dollar, but once we get to a point where the Fed just throws in the towel and we get back to massive QE, massive money printing, kiss it all goodbye, the dollar is going to be toast. It may still exist, but it is not going to be the main world reserve currency. It is going to share that position with other currencies, more than likely the yuan, maybe a couple other ones, but I think the yuan will be the leader here. So what is going to happen here? See, people just, I don't think, have a realization of what happens when the US dollar is dethroned, or at least when it has major competition. The average person's standard of living is going to collapse. Not going to go down a little bit. It's going to collapse. It's going to go down a lot. And if you're just sitting on paper or you're sitting on things backed by paper, you're going to be in trouble. This is why it's so imperative to make sure in your portfolio you have some gold and silver. Not paper gold and silver, but real hard, tangible, physical silver that you can access. I think this is going to be extremely important. This isn't financial advice. This is me thinking out loud. This is what I'm doing. And this is what most central banks across the world are doing. This is what China is doing, Russia, Saudi Arabia, you name it. This is where it's all going. It's going to go back, I think, to simplicity. It's going to go back to the basics. It's going to go back to that barbarous relic that we were told is worthless. Nobody wants it. It's just a rock. It's amazing. So many countries and so many central banks are stockpiling this stuff. Record breaking. The hedge, the housing bubble, owners trapped by low rate mortgages, buyers thwarted by high rate mortgages. So this is an interesting time. 51% of homeowners have a rate under 4%, and many of them have a rate around 3%. So the question is, who's left now to go and buy an overvalued home? And many people are trapped. If you got a rate, I know people that got a rate at 2.65. If you got a rate at 3%, 3.5, 2.7, If you sell your house and move, you're going to be paying what, 6.25 today, 6.5, in an overvalued piece of real estate. So the Fed has succeeded in inflating this housing bubble, and it has priced out so many people and now forced so many people to be trapped in their homes. And what is going to happen sooner or later, prices, in my opinion, will come down, because many people who may be trapped in their homes, many people are going to lose a job and they'll be forced to sell. Many people who have second and third homes, we have 15 million homes sitting vacant right now in America, second, third, fourth homes. And people will come to a point where they're bleeding out as far as debt. They're going to have to raise some capital. And what are they going to do? They're going to have to sell a property. You lose a job, you may have to sell all your properties. If you're in the real estate industry, you're a real estate agent, 1.6 million people that are realtors in this country. If you cannot sell a home because rates are too high and prices are too high, and the other half says, I'm not going to sell my house because I bought this house at 2.75% and I'm trapped, these people can't make any money. They can't do any business. So what happens to the 1.6 million realtors out there if there's no market? They're in big trouble. They'll be selling their homes also. So this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, but no doubt, I can tell you right now from what I'm seeing daily, price reduction, price reduction, price reduction. Problem is, even after I get a price reduction, the property's still overvalued. And there are going to be too many people who just cannot afford or qualify for a loan. The problem is now we have a shrinking pool of qualified buyers, and that pool is going to continue to shrink as people are late on payments on their credit cards, their automobiles, their rent. As people lose jobs, they're just not going to be able to qualify. And when you look at the savings rate in America, who in the world can save any money now to put down on a house? People are paycheck to paycheck. We have a country where 2/3 of our workers live paycheck to paycheck. How can 2/3 of people living paycheck to paycheck afford to buy a home? Many of them may already have a home. How do they afford to hang on to that home, to sustain? When you have areas like Orange County, where the average household income is $100,000, but the average house is $1 million, this is completely unsustainable. This is bubble territory, and all bubbles will pop. Bangladesh is bypassing the US dollar and is using yuan. And it says right here, they're using it because they want to do business with China, or excuse me, Russia. They're using the yuan because they want to do business with Russia, and they will pay Russia in Chinese yuan. So they are sending dollars back right now. And I believe they also bought a lot of gold last month too. De-dollarization is happening at a lightning pace. The dollars in global reserves right now slid 10 times the average speed of the past 2 decades, losing 11%. Get this, 11% of its market share since 2016. That is absolutely amazing. And it's another reason why all of us should own some gold and own some silver. So very, very interesting times, and it's going to get a lot more interesting as we move ahead. And I didn't really have a lot of time today to watch the markets or watch the news, but they're going to continue to try to push up these markets, to try to push up the real estate market. And it is a very interesting time. And somebody said, how can you say that, you know, 1 minute it's inflation, the other minute it's deflation? Because I think we're gonna reach a period in time here where we're going to see both. And I know it's hard for people to understand that, and I could be completely wrong. Comment down below. But I think we are going to see a period where we see hyperinflation and inflation play out at the same time. That we're going to see assets like housing crash, where energy costs go through the roof, food costs going through the roof, car prices crashing. Certain things are going to get extremely cheap, and other things are going to continue to get more expensive. That's how I see it. But as I leave you today, remember this: we can talk till we're blue in the face about, you know, cash, gold, silver, food, water, all the preparations, etc., etc., etc. If you cannot protect these things, let me be very, very specific, because somebody said I'm not specific enough. Other channels are more specific, although those channels never tell you how to prepare or what to prepare for. All they tell you is it's going to get bad. Everything's going to collapse. We're in a bubble. Oh my gosh, everything's going down. We're done. It's over. Things are going to continue, ladies and gentlemen. Things will crash, but life goes on. There's going to still be an economy. There's still going to be money. There's still going to be people out there making money. There's still going to be people out there prospering. And there's going to be a lot of people out there losing it all. But it's going to continue to roll on. But one thing I want to be specific about, if you cannot protect your assets, including yourself, your family, your money, your house, your food, your water, you name it, if you cannot protect these things, be willing to lose them, because somebody out there will be willing to take them. Somebody will be willing to use force to take everything you worked for. They will use force to hurt you, to hurt your family. They don't care. So I'm not here to scare you, but I'm here to wake you up. And I think most of you already know this. So again, the specifics here aren't just financial. The specifics are, you better be watching what's happening socially right now in your areas. You need to be really awake when you go out. You need to be awake in your own homes. And it's terrible that we have to live like this, but we are witnessing a breakdown in society right now. The behavior, the violent behavior that we're seeing take place. And let's not forget the amount of criminals that they have been releasing over the last couple of years. It's staggering. So make sure security next to God is your number one asset. If you have the means to get a good guard dog, I highly advise it. I can tell you, when I move to the South and get on a ranch, I'll probably have 2 big dogs. And of course we have Nugget. And maybe we'll get some more and maybe do some rescues. Who knows? But that's a necessity. That right there is an asset, a tool, a huge asset when it comes to security, a huge deterrent. You have a big dog in that front yard, backyard, in the house. It is huge deterrent. And if you can't have a big dog, a small one is a very good deterrent also. But have the skill set, have the tools that, you know, if somebody breaches that door, gets into your home, that, you know, the odds are in your favor that you and your family are going to be okay. Your assets are protected and you're going to be okay. I'm going to leave it there today. God bless every one of you. And again, I cannot thank you more. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Gigi thanks you. My family thanks you. All of us thank you. You're so kind, beautiful. It gives me hope that we're going to be okay, that we got some really good people out there. We got some people walking close to God. We got people who care. Again, words can't describe how thankful I am. God bless.